Till the age of 18, I had an absolutely perfect kind of life. I was 3 when I started swimming, and I was a state level gold medalist in swimming. I started playing cricket at the age of 4. I was the captain of the under 19 cricket squad, and I was only 8 when I played for the senior Tamil Nadu team, which is a record that still stands. We went to Pondicherry, we were playing in the beach, and a receding wave kind of ate the sand under my feet. I stumbled. I knew I was going to fall, and being a seasoned swimmer, I kind of dove into the water. I didn't hit anything hard. I didn't hit the ocean floor. There was not a rock. There was literally nothing happened. I didn't have a drop of blood. I didn't lose consciousness. I dove into the water and I felt a shock like sensation travel through my body and I couldn't move. And in about 20 seconds, my friends pulled me out. That was my accident. And in that split second, I had sustained a cervical level spinal cord injury and become paralyzed below the neck since that moment. My heart was broken. I was all of 18 and I had thought I was an achiever, I was a champion. Everybody looked at me with a kind of awe, and then they didn't look at me at all. I felt invisible. I would get panic attacks. I didn't want to leave the house. I wanted to escape my condition. I was like, Hakuna Matata, if the world turns its back on me, I would turn my back on the world. But then you can't escape forever.
Hello and welcome to the India Autism Center podcast at the Purple Fest Squad 2025. We are the official podcast partners of this festival, and we have one of the brand ambassadors of the Purple Fest 2025 with us here today, Preethi Srinivasan, founder of Soulfree, and doing some fantastic work on raising awareness about spinal cord injuries in Tamil Nadu and all across the country. Preethi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Preeti, when we look at the world, we normally look at people with disabilities and people without disabilities. That's how society normally looks at it. But something that I often say is that anybody can get disabled at any point of time in life, and that was the case with you as well, right? Can you tell us a bit about how you got a spinal cord injury?
Yes. Till the age of 18, I had an absolutely perfect kind of life. I was 3 when I started swimming, and I was a state level gold medalist in swimming. I started playing cricket at the age of 4. I was the captain of the under 19 cricket squad, and I was only 8 when I played for the senior Tamil Nadu team, which is a record that still stands and probably is going to be quite hard to break, right? So I had an absolutely charming and a perfect kind of childhood. And then I had completed school in the US. I was in the top 2 percentile of the American student population. But I had dreamt of playing cricket for India. So I had returned to India and I joined a 5-year MBA course through which I could have an international education and yet remain in India for the most part. So I had gotten into the South Zone squad, the cricket squad, and then I had gone to the US for a month-long kind of summer vacation, and then I returned for the second year of college, and there was a college excursion or outing as they would call it, and then we went to Pondicherry. We were playing in the beach, and a receding wave kind of ate the sand under my feet. I stumbled. I knew I was going to fall, and being a seasoned swimmer, I kind of dove into the water in about 2.5 feet of water. So, which I have done a million times in my life. I didn't hit anything hard. I didn't hit the ocean floor. There was not a rock. There was literally nothing happened. I didn't have a drop of blood. I didn't lose consciousness. I dove into the water and I felt a shock like sensation travel through my body and I couldn't move. And in about 20 seconds, my friends pulled me out. That was my accident. And in that split second, I had sustained a cervical level spinal cord injury and become paralyzed below the neck since that moment.
And what normally happens after spinal cord injury? Does India have good rehabilitation services?
Yes.
What was the way forward for you?
It was a very difficult way. I was just 18. In India at the time in 1998, immediately after my accident, they wouldn't even accept me into a hospital. They said it's an accident case, take her back to Chennai. So for the nearly 4 or 5 hours after my accident, I didn't receive any medical care. So had I been given that golden hour treatment, Would I be better today? I don't know, but we are never going to know because the doctors decided that they wouldn't even treat me. And in India, at that point, there was absolutely no awareness about spinal cord injury at all. They did a surgery to fix my neck, but after that, there was nothing they could do. So I was very blessed because my father was in the US at the time. So we had insurance and they were able to shift me to the Rehab Institute of Chicago. So my rehab happened at the Rehab Institute of Chicago. But even after all that, the best kind of care, they taught my mother how to take care of me almost individually so that physically I was okay. But my heart was broken. I was all of 18 and I had thought I was an achiever, I was a champion. Everybody looked at me with a kind of awe, and then they didn't look at me at all. I felt invisible. I would get panic attacks. I didn't want to leave the house. I wanted to escape my condition. I was like Hakuna Matata. If the world turns its back on me, I would turn my back on the world. But then you can't escape forever. And then I lost my father. He died of a broken heart. He couldn't see me that way. So he died overnight. 4 days after that, my mother had a heart attack. I had an 80-year-old grandmother to take care of, and I just couldn't be just I couldn't be a victim anymore. I had to take on the reins. I had to become the decision maker of our household. And that's how my journey back started. But then what has come out of it has been great.
You went through a lot of challenges there, but do you think it was the hardships that actually pushed you out of the
Definitely,
kind of
if
depression that
my
you
father
perhaps
had lived, I would not have come out of the house at all. Because all I had to do was say, Appa, I need this or I need that, and it would just quietly happen. So I was insulated, isolated. I didn't feel any need to come out and face the world at all because I was scared. But then you can't live in fear always, right? So when my mother had to have surgery and all that, I had to become a decision maker. And then I didn't know what was in the bank. And I was still feeling sorry for myself because after all that, my degree was 12th standard pass. And if I needed a job, which I did because we had no income, then what was I going to do? I was paralyzed below the neck. I couldn't even eat the food on the plate, and I had to become the breadwinner. So what was I going to do? Then when I tried to join college, they told me, why do people like you come to study? You're rejected from college. So then what was I going to do? But thankfully, some people gave me the speech activated software and they gave me a job to go with it. So then I regained some dignity, I felt that I was not a burden on my family anymore. And I didn't want to be. So I started earning and I started taking care of my family. Then I came to know that we are 1/6 of the world's population. But if there is a person in my condition, a woman in my condition especially, there is not a single place I can go and live with dignity if my family cannot take care of me. Even if I can pay. So, what about the thousands and lakhs of women and men with disabilities like mine who cannot pay? Where will they go if their family is not able to support them? That was the $1,000,000 question in front of me. And my mother said, you be the change. I have faith in you. And I said, Ma, I can't even eat the food in my plate. How am I going to support others like me? Right? But then what happened? The 3 months we shifted to Chennai to be in the big city for my mother's bypass surgery. And then we returned home and I found that two paralyzed girls I knew, they were told that you're a shame, you're a burden, and you're a curse. So please die. Because since you are alive, nobody is willing to marry your brother. So poison was left next to them and they drank it and passed away. In a 3 month span of time, if two girls have died, then I don't know what's going to happen all over the country, right? Because I was so insulated, I didn't know anybody. So if within my small little bubble, if within 3 months two girls have died, then what is happening throughout the country? That was the thought that shocked me. And that kind of enabled me and inspired me to start Soulfree, a public charitable trust. We started in 2013, August of 2013. And now, more than a decade later, a dozen years later, we're supporting more than 3,000 families of people who are living below the line of poverty and are struggling with a family member who has a spinal cord injury that has caused permanent paralysis.
What are the most common causes of spinal cord injuries?
Spinal cord injury, for the most part, is traumatic. So, either fall from heights, um, farmers who fall from trees, carpenters, construction workers who fall from heights because there is no proper harnessing, no proper safety precautions that are being taken, road traffic accidents, and the others are non-traumatic, where there are surgeries of benign tumors, where surgery is conducted and then the nerves get cut. So traumatic spinal cord injury and non-traumatic, any age from 6 months of age to 65, all the injuries are happening. There are no statistics available. Till today, spinal cord injury is not recognized by the government of India as a specific multiple disability. It is still pooled under locomotor conditions, which means that you have trouble walking. But this is much more than that because it causes complete paralysis. We don't have bowel control, we don't have urine control, we don't have sensation, which causes bed sores and other serious comorbidities. Many times people with higher level injuries like mine, where even the hands, quadriplegics as they call them, where all 4 limbs are affected, many times they die within the first year. So we are very keen that more recognition is given to spinal cord injury as a specific multiple disability. A database, a central registry should be there that, for example, in the state of Goa or in the state of Tamil Nadu, if I say how many spinal cord injuries have happened this year, there is no evidence, no data at all. So what happens to them after they go away from the hospital? Nobody knows. There are hardly half a dozen spinal cord injury rehabilitation centers throughout the country, and most of them are prohibitively expensive. They charge between 5,000 to 35,000 rupees per day. Who can pay? And what about the people who can't pay? Not only that, the government also doesn't give rehabilitation as part of the government insurance schemes. So there is no insurance. So what happens to them after? This is a condition that has no cure anywhere in the world. In the US, the statistics are that a spinal cord injury happens every 38 minutes. More than 18,000 cases every year. More than 250,000 quadriplegics like me alive in the US today. But in India, no statistics are available, and most of them die within the first year. We want to change that. So Soulfree is trying to be the change. We are supporting all people with spinal cord injury, especially those who are women and especially those who are living below the line of poverty and from other underprivileged segments of society.
Can you tell us specifically what the intervention Soulfree is doing?
Yes, we have India's first integrated spinal rehabilitation center. It's in a 20,000 square feet facility in Tiruvannamalai. We're offering services free of cost. It is an integrated spinal rehabilitation center that uses an experiential, a very different framework that is holistic, that provides individualized services. It is a medium-term rehabilitation center where they come and live there for a period of 4 to 6 months. They stay there with a caregiver and they receive holistic training to become optimally self-reliant from a physiological, psychological, and socio-economic perspective, so that by the time they leave, people who come to us who have been bedridden for years, who have bed sores that have even worms in them, even larvae in them. They come there, we clean them up, we teach them how to live physically in the new body, we give them skills to become psychologically self-reliant, and also we train them in some kind of life skill so that when they go back home, they are in a position to earn money, because at least for that they are being kept alive. Otherwise, keeping them alive is becoming very difficult.
Is that what society's attitude is?
Really. Really, there is nothing available. I know of cases where they have been put in the barn with cows and just left to rot. I know young children who have been kept outside the house with a separate plate, like we keep dogs, so that they're saying that they don't have urine and bowel control, so we will not let them inside the house.
You, of course, went through your spinal cord injury in 1998.
Yes.
And you're talking about these things. Even today, is this the attitude, or has the attitude improved?
Even today, in the rural areas of Tamil Nadu and other states, there is no awareness at all. People are just left to crawl and rot, and the condition is so bad. I get tears in my eyes sometimes because, see, we have conditions where the husband is beating the wife and saying, if you don't kill the child, I will leave you. These are day in and day out what we are facing. There is a lot of work to be done.
That is really shocking and unfortunate.
See, there is no real education at all about spinal cord injury. Nobody knows what it is. So people sometimes think they're just being lazy. And many of them, I know that, the families themselves encouraging them to die because they're saying, we have 3 other children to take care of. I begged one mother of a young girl, a 17-year-old girl, who after 10th grade, many times for summer holidays, we go abroad. But for her, she was asked to carry stones. So while working in the middle of the afternoon, she fainted and the stone fell on her neck. And she had a spinal cord injury. So I went to the parents and said, I will fund them, but one of the family members has to go to the hospital for rehabilitation. And they said, no, I'm not willing to go because I have 3 other children to take care of. Let her die. So this is the kind of, without family support, we don't make it for very long. And that is why we made this Soulfree Inspire Center, because I want to be that family for them. I want to be that person who gives them a safe space, who gives them a place where they can heal and recover and learn the skills they need to become self-reliant. And we feel that we have created a cost-effective framework that can be duplicated as is in other countries of the global south, as well as every state in India. We need one such rehabilitation center in every state, if not every district, because we'll be saving thousands of lives. But at this time, we are the first of our kind in India. We are providing free services, and I would like to tell you today, if there is anybody with a spinal cord injury anywhere in India and they need rehabilitation, but they are not able to pay for it, they are not able to afford paid care, please refer them to our Soulfree Inspire Center. We are providing free services. All they have to do is find some way to come to our center at Tiruvannamalai. That's it. Then I will take care of them.
Oh, that's beautiful. What you're doing, and I think for people at the grassroots, helping people and economically weaker sections as well.
Yes.
Kudos to you and more power to you on the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
But if there's anybody with a spinal cord injury who's perhaps watching this episode,
Yes.
could you share one or two inspiring examples of people who've come out of your center and reintegrated into society and have had successful careers?
Absolutely. I have so many stories to share that.
Which have one or two, maybe?
Definitely. First, I would like to share with mine, right? I started off saying that when I tried to join college, I was told that, why do people like you come to study?
So you're still
But
at 12th
then-
pass academically, huh?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I have become India's first female quadriplegic to complete a PhD from IIT Madras.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you did this in parallel to Soulfree?
We have created history. Yes, I've done in parallel with to Soulfree. So the Soulfree Inspire Center now houses 50, it's a 50-bedded center. We have more than 50 staff, physiotherapists, doctors, occupational therapists, nurses, so many people working at the center. And to say that this quadriplegic body that is paralyzed from the neck down can support the employment of more than 50 people and can support more than 3,000 people with spinal cord injury, then imagine what they can do. Right?
Absolutely. This is a role model in front of us, of course.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the Purple Fest has made you a brand ambassador as well.
Yes.
But I'm curious, you are running an organization, you're doing so many degrees. What do you do for fun?
Only one. Actually, that's what I was saying. When people would say, what is your hobby? Actually, my PhD was my hobby, but in July I have completed it. So now I'm at a crossroads. Now I'm able to travel places
And you
and
need
do
to find a
more.
new hobby now, huh?
Yes, I need to find a new hobby. I want to go about speaking to people, speaking to young minds of people who are lost and somehow they need direction, they need hope, they need happiness. I want to do that for
Yeah.
to spread awareness about spinal cord injury as well in India. And I think both of these can be done well. So,
Absolutely.
in terms of the success stories you wanted to say, we brought many of our people are farmers and people from who are not who don't have high education. So actually one of the stories I like to tell always is that one of the physiotherapists came to me and said, please discharge him. He is so depressed and angry. He is making everyone around him depressed. So I went and spoke to him and he said, look, you have everything here and you're saying you will teach computers and this, that. I don't have education. I grew up with the soil, and if I can't touch the soil every day, I don't even want to live. So I said, look, we will train you. We will give you a wheelchair accessible terrace garden. You grow tomatoes, and whatever you grow, we will eat. A few days later, the physiotherapist came and said, he is working his heart out in physiotherapy. And when I asked him, what are you doing all this for? He said, madam is going to eat the tomatoes I grow.
Wow.
So, lot of stories like that. Now, especially with IIT Madras coming up with this Neo Bolt, many of our beneficiaries are being given this machine, and they are working as Zomato and Swiggy delivery executives also. So many of them are becoming completely self-reliant. We are giving them a tailoring course, certification course as well, and we are providing them with automated tailoring machines. So once they get out, they are becoming immediately, and soaps, and we are giving them training in how to make absolutely chemical free soaps and cleaning liquids and all that. Many of them are able to get out there and become financially self-reliant almost immediately.
What do you think can the government do to improve life of people with spinal cord injuries?
Oh, I have so many asks. The first one is that they need to recognize spinal cord injury as a specific multiple disability. The second would be to have a central registry that anybody in any part of India comes in with a spinal cord injury, they go into that registry. The third one is to have rehabilitation centers. We start with one in every state and one in every few districts at least. So these three, if the rehabilitation centers are like ours and can provide vocational training as well, when they are able to go out, we want equitable job opportunities and possibilities for them to get loans to become entrepreneurs. These four will be best suited if they start off with first recognizing spinal cord injury and then we go from there. So these four, I would say, are the top asks that we would have.
I hope the government does this thing.
Yeah, that is something we want representation, right? I think you are also somebody who has been speaking about that for a long time. I have seen in Tamil Nadu, even from the Disability Commissioner.
Tamil Nadu, in fact, a lot of political representation of disability has started.
We have started that.
It's one of the
in
better states. Yeah, it's one of the better states on that.
I think there is a good image, but if you go into the districts, very little is there in terms of, see, even the census say only 6% of girls with disability even get to go to school. Then what happens to the 94 of them? So I had to fight every step of the way because, see, spinal cord injury is not even in the list of disabilities. So if you go to college and you ask for a scribe, they are saying that your disability is not on our list. So every step of the way, I had to write the net exam to even get see, I got into IIT, but they wouldn't give me any financial aid. How is a person with disability supposed to do a PhD for 5-6 years without any financial aid? But then you have to write the net exam and pass it to do that. The net exam, if you get in, the exam is on the first floor. So then I had to write it in one storage room. They gave me one bucket and one towel to wet and put it over my head. The 3-hour net exam, the lenience for disability is that you can take an extra hour to write it. So 4 hours in the middle of the summer with a wet cloth over my head, that is how I wrote my
The
net
wet cloth
exam.
also control your body temperature?
Yes. So every step of the way is still a battle, and I do recognize that Tamil Nadu, they are saying is doing
If a
good.
movie is ever made on your life, that net exam scene will definitely be part of the promo. Huh?
I hope so, but there are a lot of highs and a lot of lows in my life. So um, we keep fighting, we keep moving forward, and my parents have been my greatest role models. Every step, they never once did they say, "Look what you have done. You have not only destroyed your life, you have destroyed ours as well." They never blamed me. They gave me so much unconditional love and care. So I feel that,
And I hope that is a message to other parents,
yes,
Preethi. I also want to ask you, what would be a message to somebody who's just got a spinal cord injury and is feeling down in life?
it's absolutely okay not to be okay. That it is heartbreaking. It's not something you get used to or you start enjoying at any point. If anybody says, "Oh, I feel lucky I had a spinal cord injury," I will feel they are lying. It is not fun, but it's possible to lead an absolutely fulfilling life. Mine is fulfilling. So it's possible to fight your way through it. It won't be easy, but it's possible. Life for me is not about all the things I cannot do, but what I choose to do with what I can do. And in that, I feel if we make that choice and we are very firm about that decision, that we are not going to feel sorry for ourselves, that life is not going to be about why me, but about why not me, then we will find a way out, and we will provide you the training you need to become physically and psychologically self-reliant, and also the skills you need to become financially self-reliant. So I am there for you. Nobody was there for me, but I am there for you, and there is hope.
Preethi, I've taken a lot of your time, but I'm going to ask you one last question, which I've been asking everybody on this podcast. What do you think can the common citizen of India do to make India an equal opportunity country for people with disabilities?
I feel there is a lot that can be done, right? I always ask people, can you take me on a date? Like if I want to go to a restaurant with you or to a movie theater with you, whatever is your favorite restaurant, can you check if it's wheelchair accessible, right? So if each of us do that, if each of us can see that the places around ourselves, our house, our closest restaurant or movie theater, if it's accessible, if I can go to school with your children, if I can go to college, why can't I? Do I not have that basic right to education? Why should it be that your school is something that I cannot get into? Why are there no wheelchair users in the school? So each of us can ask these questions, and we can petition to make the space around us wheelchair accessible. We can be more inclusive. Like there are people, who say, yes, yes, we support disability and all that. But the moment your school, your child's school is inclusive, they don't want them. So there are a lot of very closely held beliefs that are not based in logic and that are not broad-minded. So the first thing I guess is the intent. Our mindset should change. We should be ready to be inclusive. We should be ready to employ people with disabilities, because I think we would be a true asset to any workforce, because for us it will not be just a job. Even for me, even till today, I will do anything to prove myself, right? I'm willing to work triply hard than anybody else. I'm willing to do the extra hours just to prove that a person like me is not a burden. So for me, a job means the difference between dignity and a life of humiliation. So we will be a true asset to any workforce. So think about employing people with disability. Think of making the spaces around you accessible. Become inclusive in your heart. Think of why is a person like me not worthy of love? Can I not be somebody's girlfriend or whatever around you. Can't you make friends with people with disability? Can't you invite them to your parties? Whoever invited a person in a wheelchair to their birthday party? Most of them want to stay away from us because somehow they feel that becoming a friend will reduce their status in society, right? If we can change that mindset and look at everyone as a potential friend, there could be a lot that we could teach people, and that we could be great friends and great assets in any workforce.
Thank you so much, Preethi. Pleasure talking to you on this podcast.
Yeah, I've enjoyed myself. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.